Primm used to be Nevada's first hit of fun. Now, it's Nevada's first warning sign. You crossed the line, and it shouted hello. Buffalo Bill's Neon Bison, Whiskey Pete's Castle. Primm Valley was tied to the outlet mall where mom shopped, dad played $20, and the kids grabbed pretzels. It was the ritual stop before the strip. Today, the welcome is a whisper. Two properties sit dark or open only when the numbers work. The outlet mall is down to one thrift store. One casino keeps the lights on. Here's what we're going to expose. 7 reasons this border town went hollow, and why a $4 million sign won't save a place on life support. Whiskey Pete's has multi-year approval to stay dark. Buffalo Bill's is event only. Desperado has slept since 2020, and the airport? Maybe 2037. Let's step off the freeway and walk the floor. Reason 1. 35 minutes killed the stop. Here's what killed it. Phones told everyone to skip the exit. Then, the stop felt automatic. Gas, food, a bathroom, and a few quick slots. 10 minutes turned into 40, and nobody cared. You were still hours from the strip, and the ritual made the drive fun. The bison sign waved you in. The castle made you laugh. You stretched, you spent a little, and you kept going with a story. Now the clock rules the trip. Once you are about 35 minutes from Las Vegas, the phone becomes the boss. Check-in is prepaid. Dinner has a hold window. The show starts at 8. Valet surges at peak. A tiny delay can trigger a no-show fee or a bad room assignment. The same stop that used to feel harmless now feels like a penalty. The map says stay on the gas, and people obey. This is how it plays out on the floor. The early evening rush used to hit just after sunset. Caravans rolled in for gas and burgers, then split between the bar and a couple of green chip tables. A server could print money in 90 minutes. Those short, happy detours were Primm's lifeblood. Miguel has poured drinks here for 9 years. Fridays used to slam at 6. 2 beers, 1 comp, 20 on blackjack, $350 tips. Now I count bar stools. Last Friday was $71. He is not being dramatic. Look at the room. Half the stools are empty. The pit opens fewer games because there is no point staffing ghosts. The radio crackles less. Security is bored. The app says 19 minutes to the strip. Their room key is already on the phone. If they stop, they risk losing the dinner hold, missing rideshare windows, or getting dumped into valet overflow. One wrong turn turns minutes into stress. Prices nudge the choice too. Fuel is cheaper past the border. Strip hotels push mobile check-in with countdowns. Miss the window and you wait. Hit it and you glide past the desk. Guests do the math. Why risk a 10-minute detour that could become 30 when the reward is a warm soda and 2 cold spins on a quiet floor? Affinity did not fight the map. They surrendered to it. Buffalo Bill's only opens when they can make money on concerts or special events. The rest of the time, it sits dark. Primm Valley runs daily, but trims hours and closes sections to match thin demand. That is not growth. That is life support. Why this matters is simple. Primm was built on impulse. Exit now, grab a bite, try your luck, back on the road. Kill the impulse, and the base dies. When the base dies, comps shrink, service hours fade, wages fall, and the last loyal workers start looking for jobs inland. A border town cannot survive on arena nights alone. California has finished the job now. Reason 2. California built Mini Vegas. California casinos didn't just compete with Primm, they executed it. Morongo, Pechanga, Yamava gave Angelenos everything Primm promised, but closer, cleaner, and without the desert drive. By the time Primm figured out what happened, the money had already moved west. Game over. Then, if you lived in LA or Orange County, you drove 4 to 5 hours for a taste of Nevada. Gas at Primm, quick food, a few spins, maybe a $5 blackjack table, then back on the road. That stop felt smart because it broke the trip and warmed you up for the strip. Now the warm-up lives at home. Morongo, Pechanga, and Yaamava sit 60 to 90 minutes from the suburbs. Newer rooms, easier comps, clean garages with free parking, midweek room deals that beat a road trip. You can clock out at 5 and still make an 8 o'clock show without packing a bag. No state line, no desert haul, no risk of a wasted stop. Prices push the choice. Local casinos comp food faster, throw free play to steady players, and run weekday rates built for real life. Gas is cheaper if you do not leave the basin. Parking is simple and close to the doors. Elevators are quick, and the rooms are fresh. It feels like Vegas without the multi-day bill. Dana has served served in slots here for 7 years. Those LA couples used to warm up here. Now they send me pics from Pachanga on Thursdays. Same people, same bankroll. They drink better cocktails than we pour and still tip more. I used to turn my section twice a night. Last month, I went a full hour with 0 orders. Guests say the quiet part out loud. A software tech from Corona told me, "We clock out at 5, show up at 8, and home by midnight. We still hit Vegas for birthdays, but for a normal week, Yamava's wins. It is clean, it is quick, and the points hit our app before we get to the car." This is not a small leak. It is the core business gone local. Date nights used to happen in Nevada. Now they happen an hour from the couch. Poker rooms pulse on a Tuesday. National acts fill mid-sized theaters. Steakhouses offer locals pricing and do not make you walk a mile of retail first. Drivers who might have stopped at Primm already got their win close to home. The corporation did not adapt. Primm kept selling yesterday's stop while SoCal built tomorrow's resort. The old pitch was cheap rooms and a coaster. The new pitch should have been value, speed, and clean, open spaces with real comps. Instead, 2 towers went dark and the last casino was cut to the bone. Why it matters is simple. Spend is captured before I-15 hits the desert. The gas money, the first drink, the warm-up spins, all of it lands in California. By the time those cars reach Primm, the itch is gone, and the plan is to drive straight through. You cannot rebuild a stop when the habit has moved home. Then came the excuse that made closures permanent, everywhere. Reason 3, COVID never unwound. COVID gave them cover to go dark and stay dark. Then, the interstate fed a steady beat. Buses, families, weekend crews. The stop worked because people came in waves all week. Housekeeping turned full boards on Fridays. Slot floors hummed between lunch and midnight. The gateway job was simple. Catch the road, serve fast, send people on. Now the language has changed. Temporary became indefinite. Whiskey Pete's got approval to stay closed for years. Buffalo Bill's halted regular operations and only opens for concerts or special events. Licensing stays alive with minimal openings, but daily life is gone. They call it a schedule. It looks like a flicker. Luce has cleaned rooms here for 11 years. They laid me off in 2020. Temporary, they said. I waited 2 years. No call. My floor is still dark. When they do open a block, it is for a concert, and we sprint for 2 days. Then nothing for a week. I used to pay my rent on Fridays. Now I borrow from cousins. Robbie has kept the slot cabinets alive for 15 years. I power down banks to save juice and listen to demo cycles. It's a casino on a screensaver. I used to fix coin hoppers and jammed bill acceptors. Now I test lights and walk laps. On concert nights, the aisles pop for 6 hours. Then we go back to idle. Corporations call this right-sizing. It looks like a retreat. If you plan to open only when you can harvest a crowd and lock the doors the rest of the time, that is not recovery. You can keep a license that way. You cannot keep a town alive. The human cost sits under every pretty phrase. Event-only schedules crush income. You cannot build a life on maybe dates. Bartenders lose their best night. Security gets cut to skeleton crews. Dealers bounce between properties for hours. The few who stay burn out because every open weekend is a sprint with no base to smooth the load. Fixed costs do not care about press releases. Surveillance still watches. Insurance still bills. Permits are still renewals. Utilities still meter. When daily traffic dies, the math forces cuts that guests can feel. Fewer games, shorter menus, slower drinks. Guests feel it the second they walk in. A quiet pit, closed wings, signs for places that no longer serve, music playing to no one. A property that only wakes for a headliner teaches the road a new lesson. If there is no concert, keep moving. Managers say they are protecting the core. Workers hear something else. Protecting the core means you are next on the list if demand dips again. So they leave. Talent drains. Service slips. Repeat visits fall. The cycle tightens until all that is left is a sign. A few open bars on event nights and long stretches of clean, empty carpet. The other magnet died too. That hurts everyone. Reason 4. The mall went dead. When the mall died, the stop died. Then, the fashion outlets of Las Vegas, later Prism, had real pull. More than 100 brands: Coach, Gap, Neiman, Last Call, Nike, Guess, Levi's, Wilson's Leather, Skechers, a full food court, soft serve stands, working fountains, and weekend coupon books books that felt like a win before you even touched a slot. Families built rituals around it. Mom hunted deals. Dad walked to the casino for $20 on video poker. Kids ate pretzels and stared at the fountain show. It was loud, bright, busy, and useful. Now, it is a shell. One thrift store holds on, while whole wings sit behind gates. Fountains are dry. Directories still show logos that are long gone. Murals stretch across empty storefronts, so Instagram has a background, even if your wallet has nowhere to spend. You can hear your shoes on the tile. You can hear your own breath. Tanya worked the register there for 5 years. Saturdays used to be lines out the door. Coach would run a flash sale, and we would move 50 bags before lunch. You could hear the cheers from the casino when someone hit a bonus. My last week, 4 sales in 8 hours. Then a text. We're done. No meeting, no severance. I folded scarves, turned off the lights, and walked out. Multiply Tanya by 100 workers, cashiers, stock clerks, food court staff, security, all gone. Not because the mall failed naturally, because the owners stopped investing years before the last tenant left. They watched it die in slow motion and called it market conditions. You feel the loss in small things. No perfume in the air. No receipt printers are clicking. No food court ice rattling in buckets. Even the security desk looks bored. A mall like this did more than sell shoes. It sold a reason to exit. It kept weekdays alive. Outlet hunters filled the dead hours. They bought coffee, used the bathrooms, and often tried a quick spin across the hall. That steady trickle paid for bartenders and dealers between big weekends. Families read the truth fast. One look at the gates and they get back in the car. The old deal is gone. No bags for mom. No pretzels for the kids. No 20 for dad. Locks and echoes. The car points north. The corporation tried to dress the body. Activation, pop-up art, big walls of color, cute photo spots. They left murals where jobs used to be and called it progress. It is not. Photos do not pay rent. Photos do not tip. Photos do not book rooms. The collapse hurt the casino floor too. The mall fed it clean traffic. People who were not drunk, not angry, not down to their last chip. Shoppers wander in happy and curious. They sit for a drink. They try a machine. That vibe is gold. Lose it, and you are stuck waiting for concert nights and bus tours, each one a storm with nothing in between. This is what happens when you stop investing. Stores leave. Foot traffic falls. The last tenants close early to save payroll. The building goes quiet, and the highway learns a new habit. Even the scream that sold the stop went silent. Reason 5. The rides stopped. You can't sell excitement with a dead roller coaster. Then, the rides did the work for you. Desperado opened in 1994, like a yellow spear in the sky, about 209 feet tall. A first drop near 225 feet, around 80 miles an hour. Forces close to 4G. The track cut near the casino. You could hear the train roar while you held cards. There was a log flume too. Water, wood, and screams spilling into the gaming hall. The star of the desert arena gave real shows a stage. On a good night, the town felt like a mini theme park that took cash and comped your beer. Now, the train sleeps. Desperado has not moved since 2020. The chain is still. The station is closed. The log flume is gone. The arena pops only on event nights. The parking lot glows for a few hours, then dies. The lift hill sits over the desert like a warning. Al spent years as a pit boss under that track. When the train dropped, chips rattled and players stayed. I watched people stand up, point, laugh, then sit for another shoe. That noise printed money. Now it's overhead music and a deadlift hill. You can hear the air system breathe. That's how quiet it is. You want to know what's really insulting? That coaster was in the Guinness Book of World Records. It was a legitimate draw. Families drove hours just for that ride, and they let it rust. Not because it was dangerous. Not because it was broken beyond repair. Because running it on slow Tuesdays wasn't efficient. So now you've got a 200-foot steel corpse visible from the freeway, teaching every driver the same lesson. This place gave up. Attractions trigger impulse. They do it without coupons or signs. A family sees motion and sound and exits now. Teenagers beg for one ride. Parents promise one lap and end up staying for food and a few hands. The scream creates the sale. No scream means no exit. No exit means no downstream spend. No bar tabs. No dinner checks. No chips. Corporations let the one thing that pulled cars off the freeway rust in the sun. They will tell you maintenance is expensive. Of course it is. But so is an empty casino. So is a workforce with no tips. So is a brand that teaches drivers to keep going. If you are going to be a border town, you need a magnet. You need a reason a phone cannot calculate. A live coaster is a reason. A dead one is a billboard that says, "Don't bother." Guests feel the loss in their bones. Kids press their faces to the glass and ask if the ride works. Parents shrug and pull them back to the car. The arena can flood a night with bodies, but a schedule cannot replace daily wonder. The town needs noise every day, not 10 times a year. So you get the slow fade, less impulse, fewer exits, thinner days. Workers drift away. The floor loses its spirit, and the property becomes a backdrop for road trip photos instead of a place that earns a second visit. So they shrank the map. Reason 6. Consolidate to survive. This isn't a strategy, it's triage. Then, 3 properties shared the load. Families are split between towers. The arena overflow fed both sides of the freeway. If one floor lagged, another picked it up. Staff moved like a relay team, and the town felt alive. Now it's 1 daily casino and 2 ghosts. Primm Valley stays open. Whiskey Pete's is mothballed under a multi-year approval. Buffalo Bill's flips on for concerts and special events, then turns off again. Licenses are kept with the minimum activity the rules allow. Lights on, bodies in, paperwork clean, doors shut. Reggie works the cage, 8 years behind the glass. Concert weekends are a flood, he said. Lines at the windows, players pulling markers, hosts running. You feel that old heartbeat for about 20 hours. Monday feels like guarding a museum. I count chips and listen to air vents. Frontline shifts match the whiplash. Security goes from crowd control to empty patrols. Housekeeping swings from full boards to one silent wing. The pit opens a handful of games and stares at chairs. Bars load up cases for Saturday, then send people home midweek. Slot techs power down banks to save wear. It is not a cycle, it is a pulse. Affinity calls it the right size. Guests call it closed. A locked tower is a message no marketing can soften. To travelers, one light on means the party ended and someone forgot to blow out the candles. It does not matter that the numbers on a spreadsheet say optimized. People believe their eyes. The danger hides in the slow parts. Quiet days train the highway to expect quiet nights. Regulars stop planning detours. Vendors cut deliveries. Talented staff leave for places that feel alive on Tuesdays. With every exit, service gets thinner, and what remains feels tired even when everyone is trying. Licenses survive. The soul does not. You can preserve a permit with 10 event nights and a security roster. You cannot preserve trust that way. Workers need steady hours. Guests need steady reasons. The town needs steady noise. There is also the morale tax. Reggie put it plain. "I like this place," he said. "I met my wife here. But when half the building is dark, guests ask if we're closing. I have to smile and say we're fine. It wears you down. This is not a comeback. It is a holding pattern. Keep the core alive. Cut everything else. Hope the road changes its mind. Hope the sign gets noticed. Hope the next quarter looks better. Hope is not a plan, and the comp story shrinks with it. When volume drops, comps tighten, minimums rise, and the delights vanish. No breakfast slip, no surprise room bump, no low-limit tables at noon. That is what the mid-market remembers, not a balance sheet. The missing small wins. Take those away long enough, and even loyal guests stop arguing with their phones. Cue the shiny distraction. Reason 7. Just a brighter sign? A $4 million sign can't reanimate a dead weekend. Then the pitch was value and motion. Cheap rooms, quick food. A monster coaster is screaming over the parking lot. An outlet mall full of bags and deals. You exited because the place felt alive and useful. Vegas could wait. You got a head start here. Now the pitch is pixels. A giant marquee faces the interstate. The plan lists refreshed food and drink brands, a cleaned-up travel center, brighter halls, and better wayfinding. There is also the airport, maybe around 2037. The promise is simple. Look here, turn here, trust us. Carl is a long-haul trucker. "Nice sign," he said. "I stop for clean showers, fast fuel, and a hot breakfast at 6 a.m. If the diner opens at 8 and the bathroom smells like last week, I keep rolling." Rosa drives in from Rancho on weekends when work allows. "I'll exit for value, not pixels," she told me. "Give me a fair room, no tricks at checkout, and food that's not slow. If it takes 40 minutes to get a burger, I'll wait for Vegas." That is the test the sign cannot pass. Attention is not affection. A screen can pull eyes off the interstate for 3 seconds. To win the exit, the price has to feel fair, the place safe, and the service human. That takes staff, training, and money on slow days, not just event days. The airport pitch sounds big because it is far away. Maybe 2037, maybe later. Even if the runway turns real, it solves nothing for the next few years. You cannot feed a staff on a promise 13 years out. You win next weekend, or you lose next weekend. The brighter halls might help. Fresh menus might help. A cleaned-up travel center helps, but only if they arrive with honest pricing. No surprise fees. Coffee is hot at dawn. A comp that feels like thanks, not a puzzle. If the new brands come with strip prices, the highway laughs and drives past the billboard. Here is what the operators will not say. If you wanted people to stop, you should have invested before 2 casinos went dark, before the mall turned into murals, before the roller coaster froze. You do not fix trust with LEDs. You fix it with small wins at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. If Primm 2.0 is real, it will show up in small ways first. One working escalator after months of being dead. A cashier who says your points are good and means it. A steak that arrives fast and tastes like the photo. Then drivers tell friends. Then habits bend. The map has a long memory. If it is just the sign, the road will decide fast. People will peek once, shrug, and teach their phones to never route that exit again. So what's left of a border town built on impulse? Here's the truth at the state line. 2 casinos are dark or almost dark. Whiskey Pete's is sealed. Buffalo Bill wakes up for concerts, then goes back to sleep. The mall that once had 100 names now has 1 store and too many locked gates. Desperado sits like a steel skeleton. No chain, no cars, no scream. Inside Primm Valley, the strangest relic keeps pulling eyes. The Bonnie and Clyde car, a glass box full of bullet holes, sitting in a quiet casino like a museum piece for a town that forgot how to live. Out front, a $4 million sign burns bright and tries to sell hope. This is not a mystery. California built convenient casinos with new rooms, clear comps, and free parking. The Strip told drivers to keep going because check-in is paid, and the show starts at 8. Your phone made the choice easy. It killed impulse with 1 line on a map. When border towns lose impulse, they lose oxygen. The airport talk is not a plan. Maybe 2037, maybe later. Prayers are not schedules. Lights that click off tend to stay off. Workers know it. Regulars know it. You can feel it in the empty wings and the quiet bars. The sign can catch your eye. It cannot make you exit if the inside still feels thin. So that is where we leave Primm tonight. A warning sign with neon. A town that waited too long to fight for itself. If you have a memory here, share it. Drop your Primm stories. First Desperado ride. Last outlet haul. First slot win. Tell us the date, the song, the smell of the air, and subscribe if you want honest looks at Nevada places corporate forgot. We'll keep going where brochures will not. Tonight.